Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unraveling a deeply fascinating, honestly almost unbelievable mystery about a man who literally handed us the modern world, but died completely consumed by what seemed like a bizarre obsession. So we're not just doing a standard biography today. No, we are looking at an invisible pattern hiding right in plain sight.
Okay, picture this. It's the 1930s in New York City. Every single night, an older gentleman leaves his room at the Hotel New Yorker. He never takes the elevator, he only uses the stairs. And before he even enters the dining room, he walks around the entire room exactly 3 times. Not 2 times, not 4 times, 3. Then, he sits down, and before taking a single bite of his meal, he meticulously polishes his plates and silverware with exactly 18 napkins. Never 17, never 19. Exactly 18.
And this intense fixation, well, it extended right to where he slept. He had a strict, unbreakable rule for himself. He would only ever stay in a hotel room if its number was perfectly divisible by 3, 6, or 9. Now, most people at the time just wrote this off. They thought it was the tragic madness of an aging inventor. But what if it wasn't madness at all? What if instead this was actually a highly calculated cipher?
Because when this man eventually passed away alone in his room, the United States government didn't waste a second. The FBI immediately stepped in. They confiscated every notebook, every scrap of paper, and literally classified his life's work under lock and key for the next 70 years. I mean, you really have to ask yourself, what kind of secret was hidden in those pages that was worth hiding from humanity for 7 whole decades?
The man we're talking about is, of course, Nikola Tesla. Okay, let's dive straight into this. Was he crazy, or did he actually crack the code of the universe? We're skipping any kind of standard agenda today because to truly understand what the FBI locked away, we just have to look directly at the mystery he was trying to solve.
Section 1. The Stolen Legacy, From Lightning to Heartbreak.
Right, before we jump into his obsession, we absolutely need to remember exactly who we're dealing with here. Nikola Tesla wasn't some raving madman. He's the undisputed father of modern alternating current. That's the AC electricity powering the very device you're using to watch this explainer right now. He pioneered radio long before Marconi, and he essentially laid the foundation for X-rays and remote controls. Just looking back, his life started incredibly dramatically. He was born in 1856 during a violent lightning storm. The story goes that the midwife feared he'd be a child of darkness, but his mother famously snapped back, "No, he will be a child of light." Fast forward to 1884, he's in New York, fixing Thomas Edison's incredibly inefficient DC systems. But his ultimate dream, the real game changer, came in 1901 with the Wardenclyffe Tower. This was a massive structure designed to use the Earth as a conductor to deliver free, wireless electricity to every single human being on the planet. But tragically, by 1917, that dream was literally dynamited to the ground.
You see, Tesla basically lived in 2 entirely different realities. In his mind, he possessed infinite genius. I mean, the guy spoke 8 languages. He had a photographic memory. He could design a complex 3D machine entirely in his head, run it, test for flaws, and completely perfect it before ever writing down a single note. But in the real world, he faced a very constrained physical reality. He lived in a society where a guy like Edison could promise him a $50,000 bonus to fix his motors, only to laugh it off as American humor when it came time to actually pay up. Tesla was trapped in a physical world governed by money and strict limits.
And honestly, nothing illustrates that harsh physical reality better than this devastating quote. J.P. Morgan, the most powerful banker in America at the time, was funding Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower. But the second Morgan realized Tesla's goal was free wireless energy, he asked one simple, brutally business-minded question. Where will the meters go? Like, how do we charge people for this? When he found out they couldn't, Morgan immediately pulled the funding. It bankrupted the project and completely broke Tesla's heart.
Let's move to Section 2 and see how this builds. The 369 code, math's hidden dimension.
After decades of very public heartbreak, Tesla just turned inward. When the Smithsonian and researchers finally got a look at his classified files 70 years later, they found him obsessively tracking a very specific mathematical pattern. Now, what's really interesting about this mathematical pattern is how simple it actually is. Seriously, do this along with me for a second. Tesla would start with 1 and double it. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8. Simple, right? But watch what happens when we hit double digits and reduce them down to their single-digit roots. Double 8 is 16. Add 1 plus 6, you get 7. Double 16 is 32. 3 plus 2 is 5. Double 32 is 64. 6 plus 4 is 10. And then 1 plus 0 takes us right back to 1.
If you keep doubling that into infinity, you are going to get the exact same repeating loop. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. Over and over again. And here's the kicker. This isn't just some random parlor trick. This is the fundamental physical pattern of our 3D world. When a human embryo forms, the cells divide in this exact sequence. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. It's the blueprint of physical life. But look at what is noticeably, completely absent from this physical loop. The numbers 3, 6, and 9. Tesla realized these three numbers sit entirely outside the physical pattern. They exist as a sort of higher, governing dimension.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how deep this actually goes. Let's look at the geometry of our world. A full circle is 360 degrees, right? Well, 3 plus 6 plus 0 equals 9. Cut that circle in half, you get 180 degrees. 1 plus 8 plus 0 equals 9. You can keep cutting it in half to infinity, and the root is always going to be 9. What about a square? 360 degrees. That's a 9. A pentagon, 540 degrees. 5 plus 4 plus 0 equals 9. Literally every fundamental polygon reduces right back to the number 9.
So Tesla concluded that the number 9 is the master controller. It represents a universal energy that connects absolutely everything. It's everywhere, yet it leaves no physical trace. And that's because, mathematically speaking, 9 behaves exactly like a 0. Think about it. If you have the number 492, those digits add up to 15, which reduces to 6. If you take out that 9 and replace it with a 0, leaving you with 402, it still adds up to 6. The 9 governs the entire system without changing the physical outcome. It's wild.
Now, if you've spent any time at all on the internet looking this stuff up, you have undoubtedly seen this quote plastered across moody black and white photos of Tesla. Well, we need to bust a major myth right now and now. Despite its huge popularity online, researchers have combed through every single letter, interview, and verified document Tesla ever produced. And guess what? He never actually said this.
So what did he actually say? Well, this is his real, fully verified quote. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So the crucial point is, Tesla wasn't just obsessed with playing around with digits on a chalkboard. He knew that energy, frequency, and vibration were the real-world physical representations of that 369 pattern, and he spent his entire life trying to prove it.
Section 3. Science meets Vedic philosophy. The 1896 convergence.
To really understand where Tesla's mind was going with all this, we have to travel back to an incredible historical meeting in New York. In 1896, Tesla attended a lecture by Swami Vivekananda, who is one of India's most renowned Vedic scholars, and what happened next was truly extraordinary. As the Hindu monk explained these ancient Eastern spiritual concepts about how the universe was formed, Tesla sat in the audience completely stunned. The monk's ancient philosophy was perfectly, flawlessly, matching up with Tesla's cutting-edge Western mathematical theories about infinite energy patterns. They actually began writing letters back and forth to each other, and this is all fully documented. Vivekananda taught Tesla that the universe is made of two primary things, prana, which means energy, and akasha, which means space. And matter? Matter is just condensed energy. Tesla was so deeply moved by this realization that his math and this ancient philosophy had somehow reached the exact same conclusion that he actually began writing these exact Vedic Sanskrit terms straight into his own highly technical scientific notebooks.
It's really fascinating to observe just how widespread this idea is across human history. It isn't just limited to Vedic texts at all. For example, if we look at the Quranic concept of ruh, which translates to a spirit or energy commanded by a lord, we see a remarkably similar philosophical structure. Across entirely different eras, religions, and sciences, there is this shared, profound view of an underlying connected universal energy acting as a higher source. Tesla firmly believed he had actually found the mathematical fingerprint of that very source.
Section 4. The final room. A master of the code.
Which brings us to the emotional climax of our explainer, January 7, 1943. After decades of brilliant invention, brutal heartbreak, and quiet obsession, Nikola Tesla's journey in the physical world finally came to an end. He died alone, he died penniless, despite holding over 300 patents. But I want you to look at the incredible, almost tragic poetry of his final moments. He died in the Hotel New Yorker, intentionally residing in room 3327. If you add 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 7, you get 15, and 1 plus 5, that equals 6. Even in his dying breath, he ensured he was mathematically aligned with the code he spent his entire life unraveling.
The bankers may have stopped his tower. The FBI may have locked away his notebooks for 70 years. But no one can classify the geometry of a circle, right? No one can stop cells from dividing. The code is still there. So I want to leave you with this. Did Nikola Tesla die a broken man, defeated by the harsh realities of the physical world? Or did he simply dissolve back into the universal, infinite code he spent his entire life proving? Thank you so much for exploring this with me today. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.